Welcome back, everybody, to Boundary Line Podcast. My name is Dylan Bing, and Sheldon Doherty is on the show with me. It's the second test now between India and England, where they moved to Edgbaston. England, of course, leading the series 1-0, and got to see that famous victory there in the first test at Leeds, and where they chased down 371 quite comfortably, I should say, and will be strong favourites going into the second test there. But for India, what do they have to do? They have a lot of questions there that's left to be answered. They did play well there, but lost the key moments when it mattered the most. And that one question still lingers over them is the availability of Jasprit Bumrah. We'll be discussing all that and more in our podcast. But before going ahead, requesting our viewers to please hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to follow us on Instagram and leave your comments in the comments section. Sheldon, let's get into it. Jasprit Bumrah is the big question that everyone's waiting for. Is he going to be playing? Is he not? Should he play back-to-back tests here? Of course, he said that he's only going to play 3 tests, which I think is absolutely absurd. Why would you say that at the start? But your thoughts on whether he should play or not?
Well, I think what you mentioned was so right. I mean, why at the start of the series are they announcing it that he's only going to play 3 matches, right? I don't
Yeah,
understand whose decision that was, whether it's the management or was it Bumrah or whoever came up with that. I think that's quite dumb because you don't reveal your trump card pre-series, right? And you don't reveal these kind of things. It's private. And if you do want to play only 3 games, you don't have to tell the world. You can just manage him as the series goes on. So
exactly.
I don't understand that, Dil, but yeah, obviously everyone knows now he's going to play 3 games. But now it becomes very interesting to see where they play him, Dil, because I feel like now he has to play an edge pass because it's 1-0 down. You don't want to risk going 2-0 down, going with three
Yeah.
games left. And that's where India probably have to play him. And if you play him at Edgbaston, is he not going to play at Lords? So that's where it becomes very tricky. But I think they can't think that far ahead. I mean, you have to win the next game. You're losing a series 1-0. It's a massive series. You have to win the next game. You
Yeah.
can't be thinking, oh, Bumrah's going to play the 4th game. He's going to play the 5th game. No. You got to think, we need to win this and then aim to win the next one. Because that's the only thing that's going to keep the series alive. So if I'm India, I'm saying Bumrah has to play this game. Forget the 3 games. We'll think about that later. We need to win at Edgbaston this week. Otherwise, the series is gone. So that should be the aim. And I think he has to play till if India are to come back in the series.
Very rightly said, Sheldon. I do feel the same, but of course he's come to that stage in his playing life now that he can actually decide whether he's going to be playing, given the workload that he's got, because he's bowled a lot of overs in the first test, and for fast bowlers it's pretty tough getting back, even if it's a 1 week recovery. But it's interesting you say that because England have named an unchanged squad, right? They were all talks about Jofra Archer, who's going to try and be back in the squad, but that has to wait another test. But imagine Jofra Archer playing now at Lords, and Bumrah's not going to be there. England's attack becomes all the more stronger. We've seen what they could do in the first test with a relatively inexperienced side, but they bowl really well. They bowl in the right areas, and like we mentioned in our previous podcast, that they had the key moments. The bowlers came in, did their job in those key moments there, and that's what won them the game. But for India now, Sheldon, even if Jasprit Bumrah is not playing, who do you think needs to be the right replacement? Should it be Arshdeep? Should it be Akashdeep? Or I don't know who else.
Yeah, Dil, I mean, that's a very interesting call because the other big debate going on is that Kuldeep has to play, right? That's what everyone's saying
Yeah,
suddenly now. And then suddenly you're like, where do you find this balance? But are you going to straightway swap Kuldeep for Bumrah? And now suddenly everyone's saying you have to play 2 spinners. I mean, where in England, it's very rare to play 2 spinners also. So it becomes very interesting, Dil. I'm struggling to see where you can fit in all these players the way they're trying to fit in the team because
yeah,
I think the balance was right in the first game with
exactly.
one
Yeah.
spinner and the seamers. But now if you're gonna play Kuldeep, do you take out Jadeja or do you still play him? That's why I find it very interesting. I think if Bumrah is not playing, I would play another seamer personally. I
Yeah,
would probably go with Arshdeep for the left arm option because I think
yeah.
that brings something different to their attack. But yeah, what about you? What would you do with this Indian attack? If Bumrah plays or if he doesn't, do you think Kuldeep has to play?
It's very strange. I feel Kuldeep, I think is slightly more effective. I don't know. I just feel like he's in form. He's doing well in IPL. Of course, that's not the yardstick that we measure for red ball. But I feel he's on a roll, and from what we've seen and what we've heard now in the news that he's practicing really well, and he's got that rhythm about him. And when Kuldeep's in that rhythm, how good can he be? But you also make an actually very valid point there. This is England. The pitches are going to bounce and seam a bit. Not much of assistance there for the spinners and slow bowlers. But it's Edgbaston. We know. We never know if the pitch kind of turns on fourth day, fifth day. Then yes, he can come into play. But what are you going to do up until then, right? Is he going to be that effective? Because Ravi Jadeja's there to do the job, for you. But again, he's not been getting some runs. He's not been taking wickets. Also, we've seen in the last Test match there. But I would play Arshdeep for Bumrah in case Bumrah's not there. I would go with that option. Just replace him with another seamer there. But there also been talk, Sheldon, that Shardul Thakur has to be rested and probably play in another spinner or a seamer there in his place. Nitish Kumar Reddy probably can be in his place. What do you think of that selection?
I mean, it'd be harsh to. Are they dropping Thakur because he didn't score enough, or is it because of his lack of wicket taking? Because
Or did
I
he
think,
didn't bowl enough?
yeah, I mean, or he didn't bowl enough. Because if you bring in Reddy, I don't think it makes the bowling that much stronger. If you bring in Nitish Kumar Reddy, I think you got to play an
Yeah,
Akashdeep or you got to play an Arshdeep if you want to improve the bowling. But then
yeah.
again, the criticism of last game was that the tail didn't do enough. So are you going to weaken the tail even more by bringing in, just a bowler? So that's why, again, you got to get the balance right. Because I still think Thakur at 8 is the best batting option to put at
Yeah.
number 8 to strengthen. Yes, it didn't work last game, but I mean, that's where it becomes interesting. Personally, I mean, I think if Bumrah plays, then I'd stick with a similar balance of the side. Maybe if he doesn't, then they might think, okay, we're better off risking Kuldeep than risking another seamer, an inexperienced seamer, in fact, in that place. So
Yeah.
maybe that's where they'll go. But if Bumrah plays, I think this balance of the side is something what they look at, playing again.
Karun Nair, do you think he needs to be, left out of the squad there, then bring in Nitish Kumar Reddy for him, and then probably Kuldeep for Ravi Jadeja? I mean, I'm just trying to think like how can he do? I mean, no
Yeah.
offense to him, to Karun Nair, I thought he played, as well as he could have on that wicket there, but he was not effective. Let's be honest there. So there are a lot of talks that he should be rested. Bring in Nitish Kumar Reddy for him because anyways he's batting at number six, right? Nitish Kumar Reddy also plays there. So what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, Dil, I mean, but are you going to take out Karnan, who's a proper batter, Dil? He's done it in domestic, He's a proper bat. Are you going to weaken the batting more by probably... I know Nitish Kumar Reddy did well in Australia, Dil, but obviously Karnan is more of a batter. He's more of a top order batter and can get the
Yeah,
runs. It would be very harsh to drop him after one game, Dil, after he's waited
yeah,
so long to come back into the side. And I don't think that's the answer, Dil. I don't think...
yeah.
Is it just because he didn't make 100? I know a lot of Indian batters made 100 last game, Dil, but it would be very harsh to drop Karun Nair after one game. So I think him and Sudarshan and all should play them again. I think it would be a mistake if they take out any of them. But yeah, maybe in the bowling would be the only area I think they may change. But yeah, I don't think that top order or batting order they'd look to change anything to.
Yeah. So Shardul still plays according to you?
Yeah, Dil, I think Shardul should play. I think it's not the time for them to go crazy and make 5, 6 changes because
Yeah.
ultimately it's the small things that lost them the game, and I don't think they have to go full out and change the whole balance. Maybe they are looking at Kuldeep because you don't know if he
Yeah.
played the first game on that last day, maybe he could have won them the game when it was turning. Maybe that's why they're looking at Kuldeep as that he can be a game changing spinner. While Jadeja is more of a holding bowler, as we saw, he can hold up an end, he can keep it tight. But Kuldeep's more that wicket taker, so maybe that's why they are looking more at Kuldeep till for this game.
Yeah, let's see what India does. I mean, they still haven't announced their squad, and we'll just get to
Yeah,
know on the day, I think. Right, and
yeah.
it's going to be really interesting. But for India, Sheldon, what should they do? Just stick to the same plan. I think they played really well in the first test. I thought they just lost the key moments there, but overall, if you see, they played actually well. The bowling was a bit inexperienced. Bumrah, of course, head and shoulders above everyone else, but apart from that, no one really looked like, taking four to five wickets. And of course, England played really well. You have to give credit where it's due. We've been saying that all around there, but should they try and do something crazy, with the way they are playing, or any of that sort?
Well, in a way, actually, if Bumrah doesn't play, I think it might help the other bowlers because
Yeah,
they have to step up then. It's not like, oh, Bumrah's there. He'll do it first. None of us have to pull our weight because if he's not there, the other bowlers all be thinking, okay, we can take this opportunity. We can lead this attack. We can,
yeah,
bring India back into the series. And it's not like they're bad bowlers still. As we discussed before,
yeah.
Siraj is a very good bowler in his own right. Krishna, he's coming up now. He's a young bowler. He's doing well. He was better
And
in
he
the
bowled
second
well, Sheldon.
innings.
I thought he
Yeah,
bowled
second
well. I mean,
innings
I've
especially.
been seeing I've
Yeah,
been seeing a lot of things on the internet about him. The
yeah,
way he's bowling, and he's not effective. But to be fair, it's very tough, especially over there on that ground, because I think the wicket's on a slope. Also, if I'm not
yeah. It's on a
mistaken,
slope.
because
Yeah,
it's on a slope because you got to run in. It's a different kind of bounce and everything like that. So I think a lot of people don't understand that part of the thing, right?
yeah. And it's his first test in England, Dil. I mean, that's tough for any bowler coming to adjust. Many top class bowlers have come from abroad and struggled to adjust, to English conditions because you
Yeah,
have to pitch it a yard fuller as well,
yeah.
rather than the length back. So, yeah, it's a learning experience for him. I think he'll be better off. I think he'll only get better as the series goes on. And yeah, if Bumrah doesn't play, one of them will have to step up. So I think it's a good opportunity for the other bowlers to, in fact, if Bumrah misses out.
Yeah, let's see whether Bumrah's going to play or not. I think they're going to play him in Lords because Jofra Archer is expected to come there. That's what I feel. He's going to miss. He's going to miss the test. I feel this one, and he's probably going to say that I want to play in Lords, right?
Yeah, Dil, I mean, you look at England also, Dil. I mean, their bowling attack, when you look on paper as well, it was pretty inexperienced. In
Yeah,
that first game. I mean, apart from
yeah,
Wokes, I mean, you had Cass and Tongue and all who were playing the first, second Test match in England itself. So and it just shows, Dil, that sometimes you don't need that star marquee player. If all the bowlers pull their
true.
weight, they can all do it as a unit, and that's almost what England did. I thought on the first day probably they didn't bowl at their best. I thought the length was not at its best, but after they came back pretty well. Till second day, fourth day, I thought they bowled much better, England. And yeah, Archer back in the squad. Till I mean, everyone was thinking, will he play the second test? That was the big question mark. Would he play? But I think it's the right call. There's no need to rush
Yeah,
him back for this test. And also with the second and third test being, I think, only 3 days gap till, so it's not much recovery time between those two games. So I think they'd rather him, okay, be with the squad, get gelled in, and then play the third test at Lords, where every bowler
yeah.
wants to play till. Who doesn't want to play at Lords, right? I mean, what a venue for any bowler, any batter to play there. So yeah, I'm pretty sure Archer will be back for the third test. Also with some of these bowlers being tired, playing two games and
Yeah.
not much rest. So I think there will be changes. So yeah, I think it's looking good for England so far with their bowlers, and I think it's the right call that they stuck with the same bowling unit as well.
Yes, Shalan, 100% agree. When you got a winning squad, you got a winning combination, you don't want to go and change too much of it, and I think they've done the right thing there. So yeah. So would you say looking forward to a Joe Root 100 this time around?
I mean, yeah, Dylan, he has an excellent record at Edgbaston as well. I think
Yeah,
he averages over 70 at Edgbaston. He really loves batting here as well. And yeah, I mean, Root didn't make 100 first game. Disappointing, right, Dylan? Only a 50 at a 20. 70 runs at a game for Root. I mean, yeah, Dylan, I think he'll be okay. I think he knows what to do with the bat, Dylan. I think, yeah, I'd expect some more runs from him. And yeah, it should be interesting to see how it goes, Dylan. What will they do at the toss, right? Will the ball do something, on day one this time? Or will it be as flat as it was in the first game? I don't know, it always looks grassy, Dil, when they show it 2 days out.
yeah.
And then Sunday when it reaches on the day, there's absolutely no grass on the pitch and the ball's coming onto the bat nicely. But yeah, Dil, this also has been a high scoring ground recently. Can we have another week like we did last week? I don't know, Dil, but yeah, should be a cracker, Dil. It's just brilliant that we have Test cricket, and we have 5 Test matches. That's just brilliant, right? You come back this week and it's only the second test. You still have three more after that. It's just brilliant, isn't it, Dil?
Of course, of course. Test cricket is the best, man. There's nothing like Test cricket, really, really. The every hour, that it goes on, it keeps swinging from one team to the other. You do not know until the last day who can win, and that's what's exciting about Test cricket there. But for England, they go into the Test match as favourites here. Of course, a lot of their players are in form. Ben Stokes leading the team brilliantly. I thought he was one of the pick of the bowlers in even in the first test, the way he bowled and leading this side, a relatively inexperienced bowling side that he has there, marshalling his troops really well. But final thoughts on the game. What do you think? Who's going to be the player of the match? Most number of runs? Who's going to score? And who's going to pick up the most wickets? Let's go.
Oh, Dil, I mean, it's very interesting. I mean, I'm sure if people asked in before the first game, Dil, if you had to predict your man of the match, I'm not sure many would have predicted Ben Duckett, right? It just shows what we know about cricket, Dil. Sometimes it surprises us, right? But yeah, interesting week. I think it's a massive week for India also, Dil, in this series. If India are to, win the series or have a chance of even drawing the series, I think this week is so important. They can't afford to lose no matter what. Even a
Yeah,
draw, I think, would be a decent result.
would be
You
very
know,
good. I think if
especially at
they draw.
Edgbaston. You
Yeah.
mentioned the record as well, Dil, that they haven't won Test here. So if India is still alive, if it's only 1-0 or 1-1 going into Lords, I think India will be very happy with that, Dil. Especially if, for example, Bumrah doesn't play this game and he's playing at Lords and they
Yeah.
haven't lost. It's an excellent result. So yeah, for India, they have to find a way, Dil. For England will be wanting to go 2-0 up here at Edgbaston going into Lords. But yeah, it should be interesting. Who will be the man of the match still? I'll go Joe Root till. I think at Edgbaston I'd back Root getting man of the match. And yeah, I'm expecting another close game till. I'd love for another one to go down to the last day till because those are just thrillers, aren't they?
Oh yes, even I picked Joe Root. I was going to say
Yeah.
Joe Root's going to be the man of the match, but very close behind him, I would put Ben Stokes. I just feel like he's going to be one of those game changers. He's always been. I mean, being in this side, that X factor. He's got something about him there. But let's not count out India. We've got Rishabh Pant, KL Rahul, all
Yeah.
these guys in form. Can Pant do something and get this team over the line this time?
Yeah.
One of those guys have to do it, Sheldon. But we'll have to wait and watch what's the selection, especially in the bowling department, as that's where all the questions are lying. Let us know in the comment section, guys, what y'all think. I mean, who has to play this test and who should not? What should the strategy be for India? But they shouldn't change anything much, if you ask me. They're just probably one change. But other than that, I think they have a fantastic lineup. They've got a fantastic team. They got to take that confidence getting into the test match, thinking that they can probably win this or at least draw this test, and expecting a full house for this test as well. Like Sheldon said, we have 5 tests, so anything can happen. Every day is super important. But thank you for watching the video. It's been an absolute pleasure bringing it to you. Do stay tuned for more updates on Boundary Line Podcast, and we'll see you soon in the next video. Bye.